Rob Gronkowski injured with 2:49 to go in tonight's loss out in Denver. The Patriots were leading at that point 20-17, and everything turned after Gronk injured his right knee, the same knee he suffered a torn ACL and MCL on back in 2013. Reports now out of Denver, though, 3 separate reports that the Patriots do not believe this is a serious knee injury. Let's hope that is the case for the New England Patriots. Welcome to Sports Extra, everyone. I'm Joe Amorosino. We'll be joined by former Patriots running back Sammy Morris tonight. But before we get to Sammy, we want to listen in on Bill Belichick as he is starting to regroup this Patriots team after suffering yet another loss along with their first loss of the season, falling to 10-1.
I'm really proud of the way our team fought tonight. Thought, we gave tremendous effort and played really hard. Obviously, there were some things that we could have done better, could have coached better, could have played better, but guys really played hard, and I have all the respect in the world for this football team, the way they competed. So I'm proud of what, the way they went about it tonight. Disappointing the result, but let's get back to work this week in Philadelphia.
What can you tell us about Rob Gronkowski's condition?
And no updates. I don't have an update.
Joe, we've talked about it a number of times, offensive pass interference, and that you can try and articulate exactly what the referees are looking for.
Yeah, I think you should talk to them. Talk to the league. I'm sure they have all the answers on that, so talk to them.
Bill, can you talk about the setback to your offense, losing Gronkowski for an extended period of time when you consider the other injuries that have happened on the offensive side of the football? How do you manage from this point on?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll work on that this week.
Bill, from a personal standpoint, just given how much Rob has given you over the years, when he's down like that, what are your emotions? What are you feeling when you saw him in that condition?
Well, what do you think?
We are joined now by former Patriots running back Sammy Morris. 5 seasons with the Patriots, including 2007, their undefeated season. And Sammy, when you see Belichick up there answering those questions right now, you know how he likes to regroup. He's not going to talk about injuries and move forward. What's going through Belichick's head? Because I saw you nodding a few times as he did not answer many of those questions.
Right. I mean, it's classic Belichick. I think, so for me personally, I love watching him conduct himself after a post game. But again, it's maybe a different perspective, but when he's up there, talking, he's really just trying to really just say the least amount possible. And again, but it's at the end, the reason why he's doing it is for the greatest good for the team.
Greatest good for the team, of course, would be to have number 87 back out there next week against the Eagles. There's reports right now that it's not as serious or not a serious injury. I know Patriots fans are hoping that's the case, but as you watch Rob Gronkowski go down on the heels of losing Dion Lewis, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, and Aaron Dobson over the last few weeks, what's your reaction to this, and how much more can this Patriots team take offensively?
Well, I mean, again, just knowing how Coach Belichick is getting those guys going in the locker room, it's strictly a week-to-week basis. Like each week is the most important game of the season, and again, that's really what they're focused on, and they'll get the prognosis from Gronkowski, and they'll move forward, and whether it's good or bad, and I guess however good or bad it is, they'll keep moving forward.
We're going to have much more with Sammy coming up in just a few minutes, but first we want to go out to Denver with 7's Trey Dare standing by live with more reaction from the Patriots locker room, including Tom Brady after this loss. Trey.
Yeah, Joe, a lot of Patriots fans have to be disappointed that the Patriots dropped their first game of the year, but probably nobody in this stadium can be more frustrated than Tom Brady. Entering the night down 3 of his top 4 weapons, then he sees his best weapon, Rob Gronkowski, leaving the game on a cart. Brady must be disappointed, and here are his thoughts following the Pats' first loss of the year.
was a great. It was a great drive. A lot of guys made some good plays. Steve made a great kick, so I was glad we had a chance there. Just didn't ultimately make the critical plays when we needed to. We had plenty of opportunity out there, but it just wasn't our night.
What are they telling you on pass interference that's called? I know you're not getting into the refs. What do you teach the tight ends other to do than this?
I don't know.
Based on their size.
No idea. I mean, they have meetings about it, and we have, but it never, just wasn't done. Who knows? I have no clue.
To watch Gronk go down, how scary was that for you? And sure, you're hoping for the best.
Yep, absolutely. He's been through a lot. He's a tough guy, so hopefully it's not too serious. We'll see. But, all of our fingers are crossed.
Tom, do you think that's a dirty hit when guys dive at his knees like that?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's, I hate to see it, but, they talk about, it's really the only way for the defenders to hit now, so I'll bet you if you asked probably a lot of the players, they'd probably rather you go high than low. But, when you go low, that's what happens. But I don't think it's dirty. I just think that's the way football's being played now.
Tom, in consecutive weeks, you guys have now lost Dion Lewis, Julian Edelman. Danny's not as serious, but now Gronk, we don't know what it is. His is either. But can you guys keep moving on and suffering all these losses?
Well, we'll keep fighting. I know that. We lost tonight. It was a tough game. Come on the road. We had a good lead. It just made, didn't make enough plays in the fourth quarter. So it's tough to win. And certainly, when you lose good players, it hurts. It always hurts to lose. We had plenty of opportunities to win. And, we'll try to get back to work this week and figure out how to put together a plan that we're confident in to go out and win next week.
Tom Brady, the ultimate competitor, the Pats maybe letting one slip away tonight. 2 14-point leads at 2 different points in the game, just not finishing the job. But, of course, the biggest story of the game right now, Rob Gronkowski leaving with a knee injury. We don't know exactly what it means. Initial reports seem to be positive that perhaps he could be back sooner rather than later. More coming on the field here live in Denver. Ron Borges of the Boston Herald going to be joining me in just a bit. But for now, Joe, let's send it back to you.
Guys in FIO 7-7. We're joined by former Patriots running back Sammy Morris, and we start with Rob Gronkowski, of course, because the question becomes, how is it that the Patriots do move forward? You're looking at a situation where you've got Scott Chandler, Brandon LaFell, James White, Brandon Bolden. Those are your real 4 pass catchers right now immediately. That does not stack up to Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, and Dion Lewis, obviously. But how does Belichick and how does Brady pull this thing together and move on to next week?
I think they're going to find a way. I think that's one thing that jumps out on the stat sheet is LeGarrette Blount having 9 carries. So that's the run game is one thing I think is going to pick up soon or pick up more. And again, I think they've got the weapons to do that.
We saw them take a lot of shots downfield even when Gronk was out of the game at that point, as if maybe that could be a way they're going to try to keep defenses honest. We don't see that typically because it's the short stuff to Amendola and Edelman and Dion Lewis. Now, do you think we're going to see long taking shots downfield to Brandon LaFell, and what does that become? I see that happen, and I see turnovers, and I see problems.
Well, again, I think LaFell he's a deep threat. I think he's he's a tall guy, a taller receiver that creates a mismatch for a shorter DB, and again. Chandler's a tall receiver as well. So, I think that the Patriots they're gonna use the most out of every weapon that they're gonna get the most out of every weapon that they have. And again, you still got number 12 back there throwing the ball to him.
Number 3, I want to ask you your thoughts on Brock Osweiler, because this could be someone the Patriots see again in the postseason, making just his 2nd career start. I want to go and show that drive after Gronk got hurt because he got it done. Yeah. He had the 36-yard gain to Demaryius Thomas, a 39-yard gain to Emmanuel Sanders, and then he had the touchdown pass to Caldwell. As you look through these highlights right now, this is a kid who's playing with confidence.
Yeah, and again, just looking through the highlights, the things that I saw as just watching the game was, he took some big hits in there. He really, it looked like Tavon Wilson had a chance to put him out the game with the shot that he took. He stood in there, got sacked 3 times, stood in the pocket, didn't. He really has a good pocket presence. I like that, and maybe that's being 6'8", being able to to see over that line.
Caught a real big break here when Chung got called for that penalty, kept that drive, brought up 1st and goal, and that was that, and he knew how to take advantage of it.
Right. Yeah, he did. Again, he you give him a window, and he put it right there to Caldwell, and it's, again, perfect pass.
Next up, Patriots did struggle stopping the run. They ran for 170 yards on him. Yeah. Denver did, and they were behind in this game, and they kept running the ball. 5.6 yards per carry, and C.J. Anderson did it to them ultimately. That guy is a bull.
He is, and that's one thing that the Patriots, they really pride themselves on is being able to stop the run, and again, kind of keep the clock going. That's definitely one thing that they've got to be able to get corrected in terms of, I'm not sure if it's a personnel issue or what it may be, but again, that's one thing that they've definitely got to get fixed.
When you talk about stopping the run, you look in the middle with those linebackers. No Jamie Collins today. He's been out with this illness. Reports that he was back in Foxborough, could be coming back soon, hopefully. But then you see Dante Hightower go down in today's game as well. Leaves a big hole in the middle of the field. Those two guys are really the glue in the middle of this defense right now.
Yeah, and I guess one thing that's, I guess, kind of help offset the losing those guys is having those such big defensive linemen. Coach Belichick, they'll do a great job of scheming up the line and getting those guys, in the nose and the three techniques, and kind of really just stuffing those guys to keep them off the linebackers, and again, kind of helping those guys, move around and make plays.
The Patriots did see the next man up, and it was Jonathan Freeney, and he got it done. He led the team with 12 tackles, 7 solo tackles, had a big sack. How do you see? First of all, they were lucky enough to find this guy. Belichick's got a knack for finding them, and sure enough, when he needs them, he's ready to go. How do the Patriots do that? How do they prepare players to keep delivering the goods like this?
And again, it's the same mindset. Again, it sounds again kind of, you hear it, week after week, but it really is the next man up. They do a good job of preparing the guys throughout the week, whether it's in the film or on the practice field. And again, I mean, Freeney's here making a great job. I mean, doing a great job of just making plays and being relentless, chasing the quarterback. Again, they got a tough group back there.
Looking at some other positives out there right now, Logan Ryan on Demaryius Thomas tonight. We talked about it all game long. Impressive. He had been targeted 11 times with 0. On the 12th one, that was the big gainer down the sideline that ultimately set up when they took the lead 24-21. But ultimately targeted 13 times and only one completion. Logan Ryan did a heck of a job on Demaryius Thomas, and that is not an easy guy to cover for anyone.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, so he definitely has the height. Thomas had the height match. Advantage in that matchup, but again, he did a great job of staying there, and he was, I mean, just all over the place. And one thing I really like about him is he's tough in the run. I think that's one thing that's kind of really, I mean, that's a great attribute that he has. He's tough in the run, and again, that kind of really helps him, there in the secondary.
Where would they be without Butler and Ryan right now? Two guys that were 5th and 6th on the depth chart if you had looked at it at the end of last season when Revis and Browner were still here.
Again, it's that same mindset. It's the next man up. They do a great job each week after week. It's just preparing each guy to come in and step in and be ready to step in if he is given the chance to get in there.
All right, Sammy Morris is with us tonight. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going back out to Denver live with Trey Dare, who'll be joined by the Boston Herald's Ron Borges. I can't wait to hear what Borges has to say about this. That's next on Sports Extra. Welcome back to Sports Extra. The Patriots regrouping tonight after suffering their first loss of the season. Now 10-1, still in first place in the AFC. 1 game up on Cincinnati, 2 games up on Denver. Of course, 7's Trey Dare out there in Denver tonight, standing by with the Boston Herald's Ron Borges with a look at where the Patriots go from here.
Thank you, Joe. Joined now by Ron Borges. Ron, a tough game tonight for the Patriots. They kind of were in control of things, had that 14-point lead. You had to feel the tide shift when Rob Gronkowski goes down. Obviously, that's the biggest talking point here tonight.
Well, sure. I mean, you could sort of get the sense that the tide was running out a little bit. They were missing so many players. And then when he went down, you just sort of, the feeling was just bad. But even at that point, I mean, they made a great run to it. They forced overtime. I thought it was a tremendously gutsy performance by their team and really a pretty memorable game, even though obviously didn't end the way you'd hope.
Ron, I really think, you got to look beyond that. There was some major problems on defense as well. This didn't just all fall on an injury.
Right.
C.J. Anderson, Ronnie Hillman really gassed this run defense. Is there cause for concern there?
Yeah, I think there is, and I think it has been most of the season. I think it actually could have been worse had Denver been there their coaching staff been more stubborn about it in the third quarter, and they weren't. But when they went back to it at the end and needed it, bang, they got the runs that they needed. And yeah, I think going forward, that's a problem. Now you got to remember, Hightower was out, Jamie Collins was out, so you had guys in there that were really struggling by the end. And I just think looking forward, you have, in my mind, you have certainly obviously concerns on offense, but you also now have physical concerns on defense. And the Super Bowl is a survival march, as you know. And right now they're not surviving too well.
It's survival of the fittest. They'd be in some trouble. You raise a good point there that you're down your two best players on defense in Hightower and in Jamie Collins. And on offense, Brady's 4 best weapons all not on the field by the end of the game. That said, who's really better than New England in the AFC? Is this perhaps the AFC Championship game preview that we saw tonight?
Well, I think at this point maybe several teams, because these aren't the Patriots. These are it's the missing persons. What's one of the biggest plays of the game? Guy drops a punt. Well, you think Edelman's going to drop that punt, or even Amendola? No, and I'm not blaming Harper. I'm just saying that's what happened. And these, so when you look at them, you say, okay, the original Patriots, you can make that case, but these guys, I think they're in a dogfight every game the rest of the season.
A frustrating loss, certainly, for the Patriots. They did manage to get it into overtime. It was a great drive by Brady there at the end to tie it. No Peyton Manning in the game, so maybe not quite the same buzz that a lot of the times Patriots-Broncos does have. Do you think we've seen the end of the Brady-Manning rivalry, given the way Osweiler played on the field tonight?
I would think so. Obviously, you can't take him out of the lineup if you're Denver, and I think that things have changed for Manning. Obviously, now things have changed for Brady, at least in terms of the weapons he has around him. You could see the struggles he was having. The guy who was getting it out in 2 seconds now can't get it out in 2 seconds. So what happens? Now
your line's exposed a little bit more.
Now you have protection problems, and you have other problems, and he's starting to get hit a lot, and that's not good. So maybe they can sort some of these things out, but I think they got a tough road to hoe.
Ron Borges, thank you very much. Joe, frustrating night for the Patriots, coming up 1 game shy, but still, a lot of positives to take from this. They do have home field advantage as of now in the AFC, and that's going to do it for us from out here in Denver. Let's send it back to you.
Thanks, Trey. With key injuries on both sides of the ball right now, the Herald's Ron Borges saying it's going to be a dogfight the rest of the year for the Patriots, week in and week out. We'll see if former Patriot Sammy Morris agrees when we return on Sports Extra. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Sammy Morris with us. And Sammy, as you look in the immediate future for the Patriots going into next week, we don't know the condition of Rob Gronkowski right now. Reports are that it is not a serious injury. Let's hope that's the case for the Patriots and for Gronk. But let's just say he's not going to be 100%. I'd be surprised if we see him on the field next week. The good news is they're playing the Eagles. They're playing them at home at Gillette Stadium. That's a nice way and a nice week time to make an adjustment. Looking ahead, you've got Houston, down in Houston, a game that was just flexed into the NBC national game, a game the NFL thought was going to be a great game, and the networks did because of Houston's defense right now. How do the Patriots circle the wagons? What's the message from Bill Belichick for this team now?
So the first thing is just Coach Belichick, like he will never use injuries as an excuse. None of the players will use it, and rightfully so. I think they'll never use that as an excuse. But again, just in terms of just moving forward, it's again, I keep saying it, and I guarantee you'll hear it in the locker room a million times. It's the next man up. And that's just the unfortunate reality of playing in the NFL, that there's injuries are part of the game. Again, I believe that they'll just get the guys together, and whoever they dress out for those games, they'll have a game plan ready to go. Offense, defense, special teams, the coaching staff, and I think they'll get it done.
We saw it tonight. The Patriots didn't shy away from throwing the football, even without Edelman, Amendola, Dobson, and Dion Lewis, and then ultimately losing Gronk in this game. But are you surprised they didn't run it more in this game?
Yeah, and again,
former running back. You want to see some people get the rock.
I want to see that regardless of But I think seeing the weather, the way the game was kind of going on, the weather was carrying on. I kind of was assuming that Blount would have more than 9 carries, or maybe getting Bolden in there a little more, or again James White as well. But I think that's one thing that I mean, I don't know if you want to say that they're going to have to do, but that's one thing I think that they'll look to see to utilize a little bit more in the run game.
Could get more and more difficult for Brady to get rid of the ball quickly. We saw him get hit quite a bit again tonight. The O-line did a great job earlier in the game, but Brady took more hits as the game went along because he had nowhere to go with the ball.
Yeah, and again, that's where I believe that Bolden and James White, I think they'll do a good job. I mean, and Bolden's already shown that he can do a good job of catching the ball and making moves and scoring touchdowns. Again, those are just two weapons I think that they're going to utilize a whole lot more.
So we look at the Patriots and the Broncos after this matchup, and we're figuring we're going to see them again this season in the playoffs, the Patriots and Broncos. But I have to ask you right now, you just watched these two teams. You know the condition of the Patriots right now with all their injuries. Which team's more likely to make it to the AFC Championship as of tonight?
Again, just being in the locker room, I got to do I got to say still kind of be the Belichick way, the Patriot way. I still believe that this team, has enough. I don't know. This may not necessarily firepower, but again, they still have the right guys in position. The coaching staff is still there, and in the truest sense of the word, it's an ultimate team. So it's again, it's playing smart football, not turning the ball over. Again, I still got to go with the Patriots.
So you're kind of going with the Patriots have the strong foundation. They have this strong foundation. They're getting knocked away and chipped away, and some big pieces coming out. Another big one tonight. But when it comes down to it, Belichick, Brady, and the foundation and the system is what you're banking on.
Yeah, and again, I mean, and that's not to say that they're not going to get some of those weapons back too by the time that the end of the season gets here. But five games left. I just feel like they got to find a way to get it done.
All right, we'll be holding you to it.
Right,
and I know Patriots fans are hoping you're right, too.
Same here.
All right, former Patriot Sammy Morris, thanks for coming in here tonight. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back on Sports Extra.
Play of the Week, brought to you by Capital One.
To the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn Tigers going to the air. Watch Jason Smith tip the Jeremy Johnson pass to himself and take it 77 yards for the score. The Tide eventually rolled on to the win, but Smith's quick thinking and quicker hands get our play of the week. That's all our time for Sports Extra this week. I'm Joe Amorosino. Have a great week, everyone. Phil Kessel enjoys, always comes in, enjoys the show when he's in town. Patriots fan, still keeping. Yep.